hearty welcome to our distinguished guest of speaker, Professor Qamar Qureshi, and I also welcome our Vice President, Dr. Abha Chabra, all EC member of ISRS, life members, and members of wider geospatial community, researchers, and students. They will be joining soon. And thank you all for joining today. Today is the holiday, but thank you. Welcome our Vice President, Dr. Abha Chabra, all EC member of ISRS, and life members, and members of wider geospatial community, researchers, students. They will be joining 1969. And thank you all for joining today. Basic aim was to advance the Earth observation, welcome our Vice President, technology in different areas of climatic applications, and life members and society members today of wider geospatial community, researchers, students. They will be joining 1969 summer today. Basic members holiday advance the Earth observation, geospatial joining technology in different areas of climatic applications, and life members and society members today of wider geospatial community, researchers, students. They will be joining 1969 summer today. We are going to members holiday advance the Earth observation, joining technology in different areas of climatic applications, and life members and society members today of wider geospatial community, researchers. We are organized. They will be joining 1969 summer today. We are going to members holiday advance the Earth observation, joining technology in different areas of climatic applications, and life members and society members today of wider geospatial community, researchers. We are organized. They will be joining 1969 summer today. We are going to members holiday advance the Earth observation, joining technology in different areas of climatic applications, and life members and society members today of wider geospatial community, researchers. We are organized. They will be joining 1969 summer today. We are going to members holiday advance the Earth observation, joining technology in different areas of climatic applications, and life members and society members today of wider geospatial community, researchers. We are organized. They will be joining 1969 summer today. Thank you very much, member accepting our invitation. Today's topic, joining thank you very much, member accepting our invitation. Today's topic, thank you very much, member accepting our invitation. Today's topic, thank you very much, member accepting our invitation. Today's topic, thank you very much, member accepting our invitation. Today's topic, playing a very important role as a conservationist across their working different landscape of the country. So we are indeed very much grateful to you, sir. And actually, Dr. Prakash Chauhan, President ISRS, has conveyed playing a very important thanks to you because of some urgent working different meeting he could not be available with us today. And very much so now before going to our talk, I invite our Vice President Prakash Chauhan, Dr. Abha Chabra ma'am, to welcome Professor Qamar Qureshi and also give her opening remark. Ma'am, please. He could not be available with us today.
Thank you, Dr. Hiten.
So now
Namaste and a very good morning to all. I hope, Dr. Hiten, I am audible to you and to everyone.
Dr. Abha Chabra, ma'am.
Thank
To
you.
welcome
Thank you so
Professor
much.
Qamar Qureshi.
Yeah, indeed, it's a proud privilege to welcome all
Ma'am, please.
on this special occasion as we gather today to celebrate Earth Day. Namaste and as we know, we celebrate Earth Day on 22nd April, and to mark that day, our society is today organizing this special occasion. It's a proud privilege to welcome. I believe this Earth Day is a day that reminds all of us to celebrate towards our shared, as we know, we celebrate for protecting and conserving our planet. And this year theme of Earth Day is very apt also. Our power, our planet. On behalf of our Indian Society of Remote Sensing, all of us, I extend a very warm welcome to all the distinguished members of our society, the eminent speaker of today's and this year theme of Shri Qureshi ji, all my colleagues, the researchers, and all participants who are joining us today for this online talk. Extend a very warm welcome to all. As we celebrate the Earth Day, I believe it's not just a symbolic day, and this year theme of it's not just a symbolic observance. All my colleagues actually a call for action for everyone, each one of us for this online. And today, in our current era, while we all understand that this era is marked by climate change, the environmental degradation, and there is a need for biodiversity conservation, for saving our planet. Everyone joining us
ज्यादा नहीं है मुश्किल पे
and today, in our
देख लेना
current
कितने
era,
का
while we all understand have
बहुत
years
मशीन करवा
marked by
लेना
climate change, the environmental degradation, and use there are some microphones. Yeah, so I was just mentioning that like
ज्यादा
the
नहीं है
role of
मुश्किल
remote
पे
sensing and geospatial technologies have become more pertinent and critical than ever. And today, as Dr. Hitendra has just informed us, we have Qureshi ji with us, and we are deeply honored in your presence, sir. Qureshi ji,
ज्यादा नहीं है
an
मुश्किल
eminent
पे
wildlife expert. We are his immense contribution and experience in this field with the use of GIS, remote sensing, and quantitative ecology, with his work focusing on landscape level planning, habitat restoration, mitigating the human-animal conflicts are widely encouraged and widely respected. हम अपनी सोसाइटी की तरफ से सर आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत करते हैं और धन्यवाद करते हैं कि आपने हमारा निमंत्रण स्वीकार किया. और I believe, sir, today his talk will enrich our understanding and will inspire all of us, all our participants, all our members to think and act more deeply about the challenges, about the opportunities in safeguarding our environment and our Mother Earth. That is the purpose of celebrating or remembering or arranging such occasions of Earth Day. So I encourage all our participants to actively engage in today's session and reflect their ideas shared by our eminent speaker. Together we shall work for building a sustainable future through our science, innovation, and collective efforts. And today our speaker, he's a scientist, he's an academician, he's a wildlife expert, a very renowned person with a rich experience. So we are really looking forward and to your talk. And with these words, I once again welcome all our participants and look forward to very insightful and enriching session ahead. And thank you so much. Dhanyavad. And now I request Dr. Hitendra to please take forward the session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your opening remark. And I request the audience that you please mute your mic. We are receiving a lot of disturbance here. So you please make sure that your mic is muted.
And we have the question answer session at the end.
Yeah.
Dr.
Yes.
Yes.
So yes, you have a question. You can ask your questions. You can in chat box. You can type your question. We can take your questions after the lectures. So now, sir, I request you to take this lecture, please.
Yeah. So good morning and namaskar to everybody. I'm going to just a second. Let me. I'm audible? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You are audible and slides are also visible to us.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about the large carnivore species of the country and take you through the journey of how we are conserving this species. Most of you are from geospatial background. So trust me on one thing that most of the work as a background and a backbone of this work was in geospatial. And I will highlight also two things that when you plan at a country level, such a large scale, how we planned to collect data spatially and how we integrate this data for countrywide, not only data collection, but planning for conservation. So if you're aware, India is very unique. We are the most populous country in the world. And not only now, if you look at our history, even if you go to Stone Age, we are actually quite populous at that time. Uh, we are fortunate that culturally, the way our culture and religion is aligned with conservation is amazing. With so many people, we still have a wildlife. For example, the largest number of tigers in the world we have, largest number of leopards, whole range of species. Worldwide, they are in decline except India, in spite of having so many people, because of our cultural ethos. And it's interesting to look at that.
Hello.
Sir, we are not able to hear Qureshi ji.
Just a minute.
Just a minute.
Okay. Okay.
Let me check.
You are now audible. Sir.
You are
Now audible,
audible?
sir.
You are
I'm
now
audible
audible.
now?
Yeah, you are
Now
audible
audible, sir.
now. Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry. So uh, I'm clear now. So what I was talking about that, we are interesting in terms of world history, our culture, cultural context, the way we deal with nature and wildlife is very different. In spite of having the most populous nation in the world, we able to conserve uh, all these large cats. No other country can actually have that kind of, privilege as we have. If you really look at uh, tiger, leopard, many other species, we are harboring the largest population of these animals. And we have interesting relation like humans with the large cats specifically. They are dangerous and they invoke our fear and envy both. If you look at, many of these large cats are Vahans of goddess Durga. And very interesting context here that, early iconography, if you look at lion was the Vahan, and later on as, the cultural shift happened in the country eastward and southward, tiger become also a part of that symbol. If you see this picture, both tiger and lion in the later iconography, you can see both of them. So as I was talking about that they are dangerous, so we are having that association with them because it create that awe for dangerous animal. Just to get you a context that leopard came to India first from uh, the western part of country. It's an African element. Then came wolf, wild dog, cheetah, tiger. Lion is the most recent, entry in country. And interestingly, lion came after, decline of Mohenjo-daro Harappa culture because it's not there. Tiger is depicted in Harappan seals, but not lions. Uh, Our association with why this is I was talking about the Stone Age area. This where the Petralia has reconstructed this map. Most of the country, forests of India are what we call peopled forests. People were there, they're living. So we don't have anything what we call the pristine forest. But an interesting part in India is that we not only recently we have rules and regulation for wildlife conservation, but it dates back to thousands of years. And in Ashoka's rock edicts is very clearly mentioned of when to kill, when not to kill animal, and even Ashoka has set up veterinary Ayurvedic hospital kind of a stuff during his reign. Interestingly, by the time Mughal Maratha Empire came to end, there were 60% of forest in the country. And by the time British have left, we only have 30% left. So almost 30% loss of forest only happened in a short span of time from 1860s almost to 1947. And two world wars were have contributed in a big way in this loss. Just to get you a context, there is a cultural shift in conservation scenario. As I was telling you, our association with culture was very different. But when British came, their association was very, very commercial. By the time they came, capitalism was beginning, and so they expanded both forestry and agriculture, and a lot of killing of large animals happened. 65,000 tigers themselves itself has been slaughtered between up to 1960s, including a major part happened during the time of British. So large swaths of India's wildlife has suffered during that time, but also they have created interesting framework of law in the end part after 1940s during British rule. Some of the things which is interesting and important to look at what has happened is that when Indira Gandhi realized, and this is not only in India, the worldwide movement which happened to save wildlife and protected area movement started to create protected area worldwide. Fortunately, Indira Gandhi has, has her weight behind this whole process, and Wildlife Protection Act has been launched. You see some of these people over here who contributed in promulgation of this act. Dr. Karan Singh, Daniel, and Dr. Salim Ali. These three people were responsible with influencing Mrs. Gandhi and Dr. Ranjit Singh to enable this act. Uh, and then Sankla, Mr. Qamar, who was our founding director, Dr. John Singh Karan, they have provided, information which is needed for doing good science. And I'm going to come for that, how science helped in Project Tiger and saving other species. So I'm going to mix both science and politics and culture in this talk. So that was 1970s, and we able to conserve tigers pretty well. Then came 1980s, and China was getting rich. I just want to get you a little historical context over here that Mao's China, the beginning of Mao's period, the allopathic or modern medicine was promoted, but due to economic situation and condition, later on they gone back to traditional medicine. And in traditional medicine, whole range of not only in Ayurveda also, we actually use both plant and animal products. And China animal products are used in a big way. And by the time 80s, I still remember when I was in the field, a lot of bones and skins were captured. I'm talking about Indo-Nepal border, and we are not sure what's happening, what's going on. And later on, we figured out that it's all going to China. So the trade was a big thing, and it has actually caused a huge decline. So from 1970s, when Project Tiger got launched, the tiger population was thought to be around 1,000, 1,500. It increased to about, thought to be increased to around 3,500. And then crisis started happening. Sariska extinction, Panna extinction happened. And then government of India thought that, we need to rethink. And that's what Dr. Manmohan Singh was at the helm of affair. Dr. Sunita Narayan, many of you might be knowing, She's associated with Down to Earth, very vocal environmentalist. Under her chairmanship, the committee was formed. Dr. Rajesh Gopal, Pradipta Ghosh, and Dr. Y. Vijal as a scientist. Rajesh Gopal is a manager. Pradipta Ghosh was a bureaucrat. I was also associated with the team, and we worked out how to count tiger. It is bringing science to conservation, and that's how the journey of science will start. And I'll discuss the issues associated with that. Now, just to tell you what happened in Tariska, all of you are seeing this map on the screen. So this is Tariska. And Tariska, if you see isolated uh, patch, it's a large area, more than 1,000 square kilometer, but it's very isolated. It very recently was in the news for opening up for mining and Aravali range. This is also part of Aravali. This is Ranthambore. There is no connection between them, and small isolated population are prone to extinction. What you see here is the population which got extinct because of poaching. This is the Panna example. Because of poaching, only uh, males are left. So what is tiger per tigress? So over time, if you see, only males were left in the population. This is a classical case of small population getting extinct. And why? Because female is easier to poach. They defend their territories very well. Male have larger territories, so they go later. That's a very classical case of extinction. So these two extinction set, as I was talking to you, that the then government has set up the committee to bring science in figuring out what is happening to tiger population and other cat population. Poaching worldwide is a major threat. It's still a major threat. It's not gone because rich China is very dangerous for many wildlife species. How we responded in generality, this is what happened in 1973 when we created protected area. But look at the size of protected area. The average size of protected area is only 200 square kilometers, which is very, very small. It is not that we lost forests during British period, but the loss of forest is continued. This is the data is from Forest Watch, which is easily available online. The similar information you can extract from Forest Survey of India. If you remove the TOF, that is Tree Outside Forest Statistics, if you remove, the Forest Survey of India is also recording the loss of the forest quality over time. Average size of tiger reserves are okay, but this protected area size is very small to conserve wildlife in general. All of you are aware, I always use this image because the classified image doesn't have that kind of impact if this is believed. This is just to anchor you. This Sharda River on the border of Indo-Nepal border. This is Dudhwa National Park. You see this is Sharda River in this wild situation, 1972. Look at in 2014, the river is completely drained and is all land. Some of this land is actually occupied by people, which is government land. Private land also is there. And a lot of settlement happened post independence in this area, both in India. This is Nepal, this is India. So both in India and Nepal, major loss of forest happened and the training of the river. And this is a major challenge of training of the river, which has changed the landscape. And I'll be discussing later that this loss of habitat is the loss of not habitat only in generality, but loss of habitat for rhinos, buffalo, whole range of species. Because flooding, I always say flood is like Shiva. It create and destroy forest. That mechanism of succession happened because of that. This is a very interesting example, very recent. I just want your focus because all of you from this background, you see this is 1988 and you'll see along this river how there is all grassland. And this is the rhino, Barasinga and wild buffalo habitat. And because the forest department was not paying attention, all this area is slowly getting forested. Now, this is very, very crucial for you to pay attention. Why? Because we reach a point in human history where we almost act like a god because the natural processes, what naturally was happening earlier, this area was much larger. And when these rivers flood, they will destroy the forest around them and grassland will form. And over time, this grassland will succeed to forest like this. So there is a seesaw between forest and grassland, forest and grassland. But that mechanism is now getting disrupted. You see this Manas is becoming forested and is now pushing the grassland animal out. Interesting to note. This is based on our data only, which countrywide data. I'll come to that point in a while, how we collect this data. So we have a large scale data collection, not only for tigers and other animals, but also for vegetation. And this is based on about more than 50 invasive species, how they're distributed. So this is what I call invasion map. Most of the forests of the country are actually occupied by invasives. So wherever you're seeing this dark color, and the lighter blue color is all largely crop fields, but other color you'll see is largely forested area, and there is nothing left which is not invaded. The level of invasion differs. The other thing which we collected over time with our data is this, that the ungulate population, this is cheetal, this is sambar, the ungulate population is very limited. And so our large cats, tiger, leopard, lion, you name it, all of them are limited to areas where there are cheetal and sambar. Rest of the forest are empty forests, and I call them empty forest syndrome or green deserts. You see them, all this green wash, they're all forests sampled, but we've not found any evidence. And this is the real countrywide data. As you move from protected area about 2 to 3 kilometers away, you can see that sharp decline in not only ungulate, but in general in wildlife. This is what I call protectedness paradigm. And just to get you focus on this, poverty is the biggest challenge for scientists and bureaucrats and politicians, that to conserve, to balance conserving biodiversity and development. That's the big challenge for the country like us, uh, to balance that. Because most of the biodiverse districts of the country are also very poor districts. Like if you look at the world, the poorest of the poorest country in the world, Africa, South America, are the biodiversity rich country, including areas in Southeast Asia and Asia. And now, just to get you an anchor on science part and a data part. If you look at this map with red and cyan dot, I was a part of a CBI team who was investigating. Sorry, I just want somebody to tell me I'm audible.
You are audible, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
you are audible.
Yes, thank you. So you can see these red dots. This is what the department was reporting. And the cyan dot is, forget the 1997 data. If you look at in 1998 onward, this is the fairly large size room filled with the old data diaries of the guards. So I was a part of CBI investigating team, looked at all the data. Nobody looked at the data, and come to that part, how we made this data available for managers to make decisions. You can see that in reality, population was on decline. And this is what I call the small population paradigm. That is, small population are prone to extinction. They die out because of disease and genetic heterozygosity going down. But this is what the department is reporting, because they're using faulty science. And I want you to see this, the lower map. Can you see the arrow moving on this? I hope you can see that. So this, the black, map, which is black line. So on the left side of this, if you see, this is where the extinction was happening, and the extinction year, the maximum signs were recorded. And from 2006 onward, the extinction has over, and then we repopulated again, bringing tigers from Bandhavgarh and other areas. You can see this become normal. The thing is that sometimes data fool you. It's not that they're cooking data over here where you're seeing this peak, but people were searching more area because the forest department people were asking officers, go and find the sign. Before 2004 and after 2006, people were doing the normal walks to collect data and information. Anyway, just to coming the how we actually do countrywide population estimation, and how even geospatial aspect of it is become a part of it. What we've done, we divided entire country into 100, and this is fixed. We have done this in 2004. We divided country into 100 square kilometer cells, which is further divided into 25, 4, 10, 4, and 1 square kilometer. Thankfully, When British were operating in our country, they also divided the country into what we call beat. And many of you who worked in forested areas or those who have an ecology background in forestry, you know that our forest is divided into division, range, and beat. So beat is now approximately 10 square kilometer, modern beats. Earlier, they were about 25 square kilometer area. So all these gray dots which you're seeing on the left map, these are the areas everywhere which we sampled. Green area which you see is not sampled. I'll come to that if somebody asks question later on. And the orange color dots you see is the tiger being recorded. So we've sampled about 400,000 or 4 lakh square kilometer of area. 40,000 people get involved. So what I'm suggesting that when we started, it took 1 year. We did an experimentation in Madhya Pradesh, taking about 30,000 square kilometer area to come up with the larger scheme which we want to implement it countrywide. It's a humongous exercise. As I was telling you, 40,000 people involved in collecting data. Lakhs of kilometers has been walked across the country. Thousands of camera traps have been placed to collect data. So it's a huge exercise to collect data. And when we started in, just to anchor you on that quickly, when we started in 2006, most of the work was done on paper when data is collected. And imagine that we are collecting data in multiple languages. For example, in North, we are doing in Hindi, in most of Central India, Odia, Bengali, Assamese, Arunachal, and other people were talking about Hindi only. Southern India, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam. So all kind of languages, the forms were made and data has been collected on paper. It took 2 years for us to actually collate that data, translate that data digitally, and analyze it. And we, over time, changed this process by 2014. We started in 2010 to digitize it using Android, but we're not very successful. The technology took a time. By 2014, penetration was good, 50%, 18, we actually up to 60 to 70%. And by 22, we have another cycle. The 22 cycle, 100% data was collected using Android phone. And so it made life pretty easy. This is how we do. These are the various kind of cameras. Cameras are placed across the country. And if tiger moves, this is a tigress which is moving in front of camera. And you can see the camera, the two camera sets lying over there. And tiger photograph has been taken. Now we use AI and Bayesian-based approaches to identify tigers. The tiger patterns are like our thumbprints. We use this information for crime monitoring also when we do patrolling. These are some of the skins which are captured in northern India, in Corbett, and in central India. And we matched when actually these tigers were operating in the forest and when they got poached, and police and forest department captured the skins. Our program actually use AI and match these tigers to our database and figure out from where they originated. Just to get you how we do the entire process, to just get you anchor on that countrywide, we collect data, what we tiger sign, prey, and human disturbance data, physically collected from the field at a 25 square kilometer cell level. Camera trap data also we have in these cells, and then we do a prediction using equation, because when 2006 we started, 30% of area only we done with camera trapping, because camera traps very costly at a countrywide scale. And 70% we predicted using equation. By 2000, as time progressed, money was available, electronics was becoming cheaper. By the time we reached 22 and 25 cycle is now going on, we started sampling 70 to 80% of population, which is camera traps. So it's a huge change that way. Just to tell you, this is the northern area. The green wash you see, dark green is the forest. The blue part is all the ground survey, physically done on the ground. People have walked 28,000 kilometers in this. Then tigers were recorded in the red dots. You'll see the camera trap, yellow is the camera trap. About 4,000 cameras have been placed. We've captured 804 tigers. How we know, as I've told you, we individually can identify these tigers. Our model has predicted about 15 tigers. So very small number we predict now. So the areas which we not sampled, which is the pink area where we predict the tiger presence. Now, this is the countrywide tiger population we've got. We have now 5 cycles we have done. It's a humongous task and come to, but why we need that? Why and how it improve the process? So, we improve the science of counting tigers. It has become more transparent. You can't cook data. Data transparency is maintained. So you have transparency is very important for decision making and science. Now we know where tigers are, where they are not there. What are the issues in the forest? Forest quality that I was talking about, that we don't have prey. There is a lot of invasive in the forest, disturbance. So whole range of things we able to do that. More than 500 developmental projects we able to help government of India to actually have mitigation. Some of you who have are from Dehradun and central India from close to Nagpur. If you see these two highways, Dehradun highway, that our data input is there to create, highway on the stilts so that animal can move through. So this data of ours, which is countrywide for various animal, is not only used for tiger, but also how to mitigate the developmental activity. And so you can balance both, save the ecology and save wildlife, and do development in a way that it is less harmful to wildlife. Hope so it will be. Tiger population is growing with 6% growth. Coming to leopard, leopard is not that, I mean, of course it's charismatic, but unfortunately is not Vahan of any uh, goddess. And it is very widely distributed, very large population. So the population which you're seeing is the Himalayan part, and the desert part is not included. So at present, there are about 14,000 tiger. But if we include those part, the estimate will be there is anywhere about 17 to 18,000 leopard must be there. And leopard are in the huge conflict with human beings, and the association of human with leopard is pretty negative. Just to, not only we did this, we also did genetics of tigers and look at, so this color which you look at, more the color you see on this map, you can see the more genetic isolation is there. So what we call isolation by geography, that over time, the fragmentation of forest is happening and tigers are not able to move freely across the area. And if you see the graph on the left corner, and this brown, gray, green graph, this is the leopard graph. So leopard, if you see, there are hardly any differentiation in leopard. So leopard across the country, there is a genetic interchange is happening. But in tiger, the population is getting isolated. And so what we need to do, we need to connect this. So for tiger, we need a very large area, about 1,000 square kilometer area is needed, what we call genetically or demographically viable population. Now that is not possible. Only 6, 7 places in the country can have that. So if you don't have that, we need to connect it by corridors. So we've identified corridors across the country. And these source areas, what you see is a corbett, and over time, the corbett has filled up not only Uttarakhand, but they also filled up the areas around UP. Just to get you, when we created these corridors, and people who are involved with mapping, they're very well aware of this. So this is the landscape of central India, where you have Satpura, Melghat in Maharashtra, Pech, MP in Maharashtra, Tadoba in Maharashtra, Kana and Achanakmar. These are the places. So when we made corridors, government has said that we can't believe that, we already have protected area and we are having a problem. We need areas for development. But we said corridors are equally important if you want large cat in this country to survive. They said provide an evidence. So we use then, this is the corridors we've created. These are the roads which are cutting the corridors, and these are the major roads. Some minor roads are many, but we incorporate that in our modeling. You see these colors moving around. These are tigers moving around in different areas. This is based on genetic relatedness. My colleague Dr. Vishnupriya and Jhala has worked on this to figure out this relationship, and then government got convinced, yes, corridors are needed, and corridors have become part of Wildlife Protection Act, and now corridors are in for tiger corridors are protected by law. All these development actors are happening. My another colleague, Dr. Bilal and Dr. Mathur has come up with Dr. Asha come up with this report, how to do mitigate roads and canals and other infrastructure development. So the new report is underway. We are basically advising what kind of infrastructure, what kind of shape, size, kind of things be needed in mitigation. Not only that, government with our recommendation invested in moving villages out of important wildlife areas. So almost 34,000 square kilometer of area is made available to wildlife by moving villages outside from this forested habitat. We're also doing habitat restoration by removing weeds and bringing the ungulates from areas where the ungulate population is good. We capture these ungulates like this. This is the you're seeing what you're seeing here. We call boma. We capture cheetal sambar from these areas and move them through trucks to new areas. So you can build up the areas faster. The other thing, as I was talking about the weediness across the country, another challenge is how we can restore, because the millions of rupees are needed to remove weeds, because weeds can only be removed physically, because from the forest, weedy side is can't be allowed because it can impact other biodiversity, other wildlife. So with our weed modeling, we have used, actually we have millions of plots across the country. We use all that modeling and figure out areas where we can save, invest for removal of weeds, and we can get maximum biodiversity benefits. So the red areas which you're seeing on the right side map is basically giving idea where you can invest money to remove weeds and improve the biodiversity value. We also move tigers. This is I and my colleague. We're moving tigers from many other areas, from Ranthambore, Bandhavgarh, and Kana to Sariska and Panna to repopulate them after improving the habitat. We worked out the carrying capacity. To tell you, at present, India is almost operating at a carrying capacity as far as tigers are concerned. And this carrying capacity of many of the forests are very low. So the blue color you're seeing on the graph, we can push all that which is on the left side of the graph into this block that is up to 4 to 5 tigers per 100 square kilometer. But India can't afford more than 5 to 6,000 tigers. At present, we have about 3,500. I guess a lot of other things happened. I will not take much time. In our process, we developed mechanism of writing management plans. Government has also put in place management effectiveness evaluation of these tiger reserves in protected areas. So all this based on our work has been implemented. Just to get you a focus, what I was talking about, this is the kind of data which is collected by Forest Department. This person you're seeing sitting in the room, a lot of diaries and registered this data, and they enter data. It's never available. What we change is to call the mStripe. This data get collected on Android app in multiple languages, and then we have a software GIS open source where all this data automatically can be uploaded. At present, it can be uploaded both ways, that people can push this data from Android directly or plug this, bringing it to range office and plug it, and it will keep all this data in archive and create maps. So we created a traffic light system. So this is how you'll see, this is the Sariska map. You'll see all kind of vegetation data, animal data, human data, all kinds of data set is being brought in, and we have traffic light kind of a thing. Each cell, we have 1 square kilometer cell, and what it basically do is look at how the things are changing over time in these cells. And also it has a built-in process that if guard is moving in certain areas, after some months it start telling that certain areas are not patrolled or monitored, and guards should actually go and move this area. So to a manager, it will be a helpful tool. So you can see that here you're seeing this tiger encounter, vegetation plot, cheetah, illegal activities happening. And this is a patrol map. You see on the top patrol map, wherever there are the white color you're seeing, less patrol, the program can guide them that these areas are left for patrolling and people can go and patrol this area. So patrol should not only be happening on the roads, but also in the forested habitat. And you can monitor Actually, one can do live monitoring of individual guards. Like for example, the forest officer can see where his guard is moving in a division. By if there is of course, there is a should be mobile connectivity, then monitoring is possible. As I told you, wherever there is prey or ungulate population, that tiger and leopard is there, and at present, the tiger and leopard is filled up the area, and we are entering into a conflict zone. Now, coming to tiger, I mean, and quickly I'll finish in 5 minutes, and then we'll have a question answer session. Lion was the most recent entrant in India. It was largely restricted to northern India. Narmada was the southernmost boundary, and now only in Gir the lions are left. This will give you an idea that by 1990s, only about 2 to 3,000 square kilometer area was occupied by lion, and now is almost 30,000 square kilometer is occupied by lion. We developed a monitoring system for lions, which is, so they don't have a pattern, but their what we call it mustache or a whisker pattern is very unique, and you can monitor. So we created a forms like this, and the map which you're seeing is the contour map of density of lions. So this is how the lion population is doing. There are about 900 lions now. When we started, the lion population was very small. So coming to politics of lion, as I told you, tiger politics a bit, I have told you very briefly. Lion is restricted, as I was told you, in only one area, that is Gir. And all the rest of the area is human dominated. So lions are largely living in human dominated area, very small, patchy forests or scrubland. That's the big challenge. But like tiger or a leopard, lion can live with humans. That's why association of lions with human is thousands of years old. And whether you see in Greco-Roman time to you see Iran, it's a part of their culture. You see India, earlier phase of the Hindu mythology, lion was associated with Durga. Tiger become part of it later. So lion was very much part of our cultural system, but is restricted to one area only. That the challenge was, if any disease will happen to lion, what will happen to this population? And this actually happened in about 7, 8 years back. A disease called CDV, canine distemper virus, and there's another disease called babesia, a tick-borne disease. Combined together, these two has killed a lot of lions here. And so my colleague, Dr. Jhala, Dr. Ravi Chellam, and we are all involved in working in area to find alternative homes. So we've selected Kuno as an alternative home where now cheetah has been brought in, and many other areas identified to move lions from these areas, but government of Gujarat didn't agree to move these lions. So this is what we call precautionary principle. We did this about 20 years back, this kind of that we need to move lions elsewhere. They didn't listen to us, and lions, big epidemic happened. A lot of lions died. There's another area which you see on the left side in Gujarat, which is red color, that's the Barda, but it's very close. And if disease happened, it can spread over there. We still believe, so the politics of that is that lion is the pride of Gujarat, and we can't give lion to India. I mean, not India, to give lion to Madhya Pradesh or Rajasthan. And so lions were not given there. But government of Madhya Pradesh, on our suggestion, and central government has invested huge money in Kuno. So what to do when you already prepared an area by spending millions of rupees? So that cheetah has been brought in. And just to get you cheetah story, this is the last of my story. Cheetah was distributed in a much larger area, but is very easily hunted out. In Akbar's uh, time, 4,000 cheetah and Akbar and Jahangir have in their court as a pet for doing shikar. Cheetah is depicted in our rock art. As I told you, cheetah is the first one. I mean, very early on it came, before lion, cheetah came to India. So leopard, cheetah came from Africa. Lion came from Africa in a much later part. And people were using, you see this painting and this photograph from Gujarat, Bahal area. This painting is from, uh, uh, Mughal painting, hunting with cheetah. effort from bringing cheetah started long back during Mrs. Indira Gandhi's time. Iran at that time was having the Asiatic cheetah, and they asked the exchange of lion versus cheetah. So before the thing happened, the then government in the 70s and 80s, which is democratically elected, was fallen. British and American process, and that democratic government has fallen. And at that time, moving that exchange of cheetah between India and Iran somehow not taken place. Effort keep happening. Dr. Ranjit Singh and Dr. Jhala, both of them have childhood dreams, and Dr. Ranjit Singh is trying from since 80s to bring cheetah. Jhala joined that later on, and these two gentlemen has worked hard to bring cheetah, and thanks to uh, Modi government and the Prime Minister's own interest to bring cheetah, the old dream has been realized now. This is the early phase of Kuno, which is Chambal area and filled with decoy. I think Mr. Chauhan, who is from Dehradun, he was the forest officer in Madhya Pradesh. He had a huge contribution in making Kuno the habitat for lion. But instead of lion, we brought cheetah because lion was not possible. So this is to model where in India currently cheetah, what we brought cheetah from South Africa, Kenya and other areas. So the same habitat, a similar condition, not habitat, at least similar environmental condition we mapped in India. It is same as where cheetah is erstwhile found in India. We can match this colorful graph with our India graph. They are very similar in their look. And so cheetah has been brought into Kuno. It transported cheetah from South Africa. This is where how cheetah is brought in the plane. It was released by a prime minister in Kuno, and they are doing very well. They established they have very huge home ranges, and you are listening to the stories. I'll take very small time on snow leopard because time is already done. I'll open for questions. Snow leopard is surviving because Buddhist culture, largely in Ladakh and Sikkim, both Buddhist dominated area. It is still revered animal in Ladakh. Wolf is not. So India is having a very decent population of snow leopard in India. And with this, I stop here because I have taken enough time, and I'll now open this up for question answer.
So thank you very much, sir. In fact, this is a very, very enlightening and very enriching talks for all of us. And so meanwhile, I will request our audience that you may now, if you have any questions, any query, we have a very good now that sir is available here for answering your queries and questions. You may ask now.
So yeah, I just want to thank many people who involved with this work. There are hundreds of students, and as told you, 40,000 forest officers and guards, and my Project Tiger team of project scientists. I mean, Dr. Jhala, as I've told you, he was there. Dr. Vishnupriya, Dr. Bilal, and Vishnupriya is now handling this project as I've retired. And Dr. Ujjwal, Ayan, Dr. Shikha, all lot of people. So this is not my work, and many other individuals who worked with me. On behalf of them, I presented that. So what I want to geneticists, sociologists, people from GIS remote sensing background, everybody pitched in to actually do this. So if there are any question, I can take.
Yes, sir. Sir, the questions is coming in the chat box
Sure.
from Mr. Gambhir Singh ji.
Ji.
So his question is about the elevated express, whether the elevated express is more safer.
Just want to, Gambhir ji, what I want to highlight here is that for both roads and road, railway and canal, so we, promote that people should use flyways, and the height of flyway depend on what kind of animals are there. If only tiger leopards are there, then there should be certain height, and there should be a sound barrier. So if you've gone on this highway, I don't know, but sometimes you see the metal plates on the side of the highway. Those are the sound barriers. So, and the lighting also should not be on the side of the road, but in the middle of the road in an angle such a way. And there's a now, interestingly, for the last few years, the lighting which is available, they don't project light in a larger area. So you need more light, of course, but they are only on the road. So both light pollution and the sound pollution also you need to control. So they are safer, yes, because they allow the. So we are not telling that entire road should be made. So what we looked at is entire forested area. We look at the information and then provide the conduit underpasses where so small and large underpasses depending on the wildlife population to move through. So this will provide the connectivity. So they are genetically connected, so the animal can move from between the forest without having a. Imagine 4 lane, 6 lane, 8 lane highway which are coming. Not even mouse can cross over these, and that's why in many places where there is no mitigation, hundreds of animals still die on our roads. And I tell you one more thing, man, I have not done that research. My colleague Sutit and Dr. Vishnupriya, they have done the work in Rajasthan. Per kilometer of electric line, about more than 100 bird die by hitting the line, not electrocution. While flying, they hit the line, power line. So, I mean, that's a huge loss, 100 birds per kilometer.
Thank you. Now the next question is how climate change is going to affect wildlife in India from Arindam Ghosji.
Arindamji, I mean, that's a very interesting question. And trust me, I sound sometimes Trumpian in telling our climate work. Two things we are failing as a scientist group, I'll say, in doing a good climate science. I still feel that there is a lot need to be understood on that. But to answer that, I tell you, many of the climate model we are doing and many are getting published in a very simple way. We take the forest, we change the temperature to 1 degree, 1.5, 2 degree, and then see how things will change. But just imagine this way, Arindanji, that forest to change in another. For example, if in the foothill of Himalayas, people will say, and I've seen the papers, that the wildlife will move upward. There will be a lag phase. There has to be orogenesis, soil development, forest replacement. What forest will come up? So I think for climate resilience, what is needed uh, is very large forest chunks which provide the safer habitat. And in India, I tell you, there are very limited, 6, 7 places. In Himalayas, we still have some scope, but very little. Uh, Even if the northeast looks very green, but most of this is community forest and highly if changed in its composition. Very limited areas in Arunachal Pradesh, which are, I'll say, still not. So the scope in India is very, very limited to have climate resilience of a forest. So wherever we have a large chunk of forest, our aim is that make sure that they will be least impacted by human intervention and development. Otherwise, this everybody is modeling this northward shift is not possible. So wherever, for example, in central India, if you see large chunk bordering Vidarbha and the southern Madhya Pradesh, the largest chunk of the forest, you can save it. I mean, the animal may develop climate resilience, but shift is not possible. And yes, of course, people do promote that corridors is one of the role play that corridors will provide a conduit to move in during the. But where they move, if change is not localized, of course, climate change get aggravated by localized condition also. But basically that. There's another question by can. Anisha, can government make plan to make big cat in habitat areas one district, one reserve park? Make plan to make big cat in habitat areas one district, one reserve park. If I understood this, yes, it is. See, I tell you, the problem is that the current management of ours is also an issue. If you look at forest administration and district administration is not aligned. District boundary and division boundaries are not aligned with each other. I mean, this is the British time it is going on. Now, government is trying slowly to change that dynamics, but it's not happening. It may happen over time, but it will. The problem, I tell you, Gambhirji, will be this: that at present, as I was telling you, that Gujarat will not share lion with Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. Manipur will not share the Manipur deer with any other place. Assam is not willing to share rhinos with any other place. So even district plans are not aligned. So even one district is not talking to another district. I do agree it will be interesting, but until and unless we have plans which are larger landscape plans, so it should be embedded like this. A you have a uh, state plan and you have a district plan, and they are aligned. And then what you're talking about will work. But in current scenario, it is two districts are also not helping each other. We are so, in the way we are organized. The other question is from Anisha. You mentioned there are approximately 6 to 7 viable tiger habitat present in India. What kind of mitigation measures can be taken to increase it? So yes, interesting. So if I'll tell you, in the north, we have a Corbett. In the east, we have two Sundarbans and Kaziranga. That's it. Maybe Manas. Sundarban, Manas, Kaziranga. Central India, Kanha, Tadoba, connected with corridor, not only Kanha and Tadoba. Southern India has the largest chunk of a tiger habitat, that is Madhumalai, Satyamangalam, Bandipur, Nagarhole, Wayanad, all that large chunk. It's the largest tiger habitat which is integrating 3 states of Southern India. As I've mentioned, corridor is an answer. If you don't have, because we don't have habitat, we can't have more than large enough area. So if you don't have large enough area, we connect them through corridor. Corridor is on, and I tell you one thing. At present, the corridors in Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, they are taking a maximum toll. I am talking only about big cat, but the corridors for elephant and gore, tiger can negotiate many areas, but for large ungulates, the corridors mean completely different. For carnivores, we want genetic connectivity, but for gore and elephant, these corridors are not only their genetic connectivity, but they are resource conduit. They eat a lot, and so if they stay in a one forest, they destroy that forest. I mean, they impact that forest. So by evolution, by ecology, they are moving from forest patches to forest patches. And so if you remember and you've seen movies and read in books, the matriarch, the female, oldest female in both in Gore and elephant herd, they have memories of the spatial memory of the landscape, where if drought happens, if something happens, they carry their group and herd to safer area, or where food is available in different season, they take their herds in these. So that's how they negotiate. And so the corridor is an answer. I'm sorry to say that our developmental activity, though in spite of having this now, at least we can say that we have a countrywide data. But having data and using data are two completely different things. So we need to have a political alignment, a bureaucratic alignment, and a civil society's push, all three, to make sure that development, we are not, I mean, of course, any country, they also, as I've told you, we are the poorest country still. And very large population of ours, I can still say two things, that the poorest of the poor in this country depend on two resources, forest and river. If you manage to have a fishing net, you go to the river and catch fish and sell. If you are living in the forest, you can survive. So we need to have a policy and a framework which makes sure that we can provide resources to people, do development in a way that, see, ecologically meaningful development in long term is good for our health, both in our own health, as a bodily health, as an economic health. In a both way, it is important. Yes, this question from Rocky G. Are these safe corridors for big cats also work for other big animals like elephant? Yes, Rocky Ji, as I've told you, the corridors have served two meanings. Not all tiger corridors will serve for, as telling you, elephant, tiger can negotiate some difficult areas and leopard can negotiate much difficult areas. So in more hilly areas, tigers will not occur, leopards can occur. But if the area become very hilly and the slope is very high, more than 25 degree, elephants can't negotiate that. So you can have a corridor with a very difficult area, but it's useless for elephants. So when we are doing corridors, for elephants, some corridors are aligned with tigers and some corridors are not aligned with tigers. So we have corridors uh, and identified the corridors for multiple, basically two, for herbivores and for carnivores. If you align these two, keeping a model of gaur and elephant for a corridor and tiger and lion, you basically identified most. One of our study and other studies people have done in Western Ghat that corridors are not only important for animals, even orchids and epiphytes, you are aware of what they are. They can move through corridors because the seeds can move. Some of the seeds can only move through corridors. Otherwise, they'll not be viable because they get destroyed of whole range of actions. So corridors are not only for animals. Corridors are important not only for big animals. Corridors are equally important for small animals, butterflies, birds, plants, even small plants like epiphytes and orchids. Considering both protected areas, corridors, and the changing climate, how does securing more protected areas corridor help wildlife and people as these may not be preferred by wildlife in the coming future? Uh, so ASG, um, more protected areas now is not possible in the country. What we have identified decent number of protected areas. The problem is these protected areas quality is going down. Our investment is declining in our natural resources. Trust me on that. Our investment is becoming less and less over time. We need more investment. And so I don't think so they become meaningless. What will happen, trust me on that, is not only happening in India, it is happening worldwide. That larger animals are slowly disappearing because the size and the quality of habitat, both by human and Earth has never seen a era where humans have such a huge footprint. We have caused extinction in Stone Age also, mind it, huh? We have caused large scale extinction, even with the stone equipments. Now we are more capable. So now, if you really see, most of our protected areas across are becoming glorified safaris. But it's important for us. See, Earth has started 5, 6 times. If you see different theories, at least 5, 6 times everybody agreed. Earth has started and new life has started. So for our selfish good, we need, even if they are not meaningful, they're still meaningful for a whole range of other. Meaningful is a very contextual. For some animals may disappear because habitat will not be useful. Some animals may survive. But for human survival, we need right environment. Other Earth can push a button and restart. We will not be there. Honestly, Earth will not happen to Earth, and Earth will survive and it will start a new life. This done many times. So it can do one more time. That is not a, but we will not be there. That's the thing. So in coming, yes, protected areas and corridors, all these are needed. For climate change, we need, I mean, look at the temperature rise these days. I mean, some of the groups who are studying the crawling and flowering pattern, a whole range of animals also, their behavior, flowering pattern is changing. You can look at your garden, you have a potted plant in your house, you can see how the pattern is changing if you monitor them closely. That's the real impact.
Sir, I have just two questions,
Sure,
sir.
go ahead, please.
Yeah. So first of all, yes, definitely, sir. It's a very informative, I would say, very interesting, informative, and enriching session. And personally, I could connect very well with your talk since I have got opportunities to visit lot many tiger reserves and national park across the country. Sir, in one of your slides, you showed the weed invasion levels. I
Right.
was wondering, there were pockets in the eastern part of the country and the southern part near Kerala where these weed invasion levels are higher, you have shown. What could be the reasons for it, sir? I just wanted to understand that from your slide there, the map which you have shown.
Yes. So what you're seeing that Mycenia, and I'm forgetting one more, they have taken in a big way in northeastern India. So if you see the habitat where the habitat is very narrow and where even the local roads, the kacha roads, dirt roads, the penetration of humans and livestock. So I've not shown here. We have a lot of paper, and some of you are interested in on invasive can go back and check. There are a lot of papers we published very recently in 2 years on invasives and the mechanism. So where the human penetration and livestock penetration is big, the spread of these invasive is huge. And I want to tell, because there are many scientists and researchers also here, we have a awful paucity of a good research on invasive mechanisms, how soil chemistry and how the plant competition is happening. Very limited data we are having on that. And I think in future, if we want to control invasives, that's the level of research we need about the soil chemistry, the soil microfauna, and the plant competition. Invasive actually don't confuse two things. Invasive have both the parts, right? Foreign weeds, which are coming from whole range of area, and plants in our country. Now, I want to highlight one more thing, that the way we are suppressing fire, specifically in fire-prone deciduous forests of the country, I don't know. There's a very limited knowledge, and my data on that is also very limited. I am seeing that we are over suppressing fire in many places, and we don't understand the consequences. So other thing, because many scientists and many of you are in position of power and maybe get into the power, the issue is that in our monitoring of ecology, we don't have long-term monitoring areas. If you look at the Europe and America, even in many other countries, Canada, we have 20 years, 30 years, 40 years data of, large scale data from monitored one after the other, institutionalized large scale data, ecological answers and management. If you want, we want ecology need large scale monitoring. I mean here temporally. Satellite data, of course, all of us sometimes fall back and we say, okay, we have monitored 40 years, but that's a snapshot from the space. We need that ground information. What's happening? How the competition is happening? How the soil chemistry? So what I'm trying to tell, that how fire of course, some places having more fire, and some places we are having a fire suppression, but we don't understand in a long-term basis. So some of the invasive which I'm seeing, my hunch, is a hypothesis, is that the way we are managing our habitat now, by modifying the water regime, by modifying the fire suppression, we don't know what is an outcome of some of these. And of course, climate change is operating in the background.
Yeah, definitely, sir. Like long-term ecological research sites are needed, which, as you very rightly said, that is definitely where we have a correlated satellite data with the in situ data.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is very much required here. So just one more thing, want to know from your rich experience and in the wildlife and also use of the geospatial technology, remote sensing. I just want to know, like, if we talk about looking ahead, let's say next 20, 25 to 30, 25 years or 30 years down the line, what do you see as the single biggest threat for the tiger conservation, particularly in India? And how can the emerging earth observation and geospatial technologies you feel, or with your experience, you can say that which can help to prepare better for those kind of situations and for the preparedness for today in current time for the coming years in future? That is from your rich experience, I would like to know, sir.
I think both from IRS and SAC and other, I think you are making data available, but I want that more data should be freely available, including SAR data, hyperspectral data. I mean, providing data to a larger community, scientific and research community in the country, it's happening. But I want that more quality product of our own. I mean, that data is available from many other countries also, but our own data should also come in that. But as you rightly said, I think we done a small experiment with other colleagues of mine in central India to look at the cattle grazing impact underground and understory, and that we use SAR and other data sets. So I think the SAR, NISAR, and all the other technologies, they are very interesting to look at the how forest structure of ours is changing by a whole range of developmental activities. So I see, and that's a difficult domain and area, and I think promoting that for a larger research community, both in terms of easy teaching and making data available, actually will benefit both ways. So that in terms of it, And I think that's the thing. It's very useful. I think the monitoring from space is very useful. The other technology we need to develop is a communication technology for monitoring, which can made easy from some of the satellite system. We still don't have that available in a civil area. And the second thing, the question which you asked, sorry, I forgot what future in tiger conservation. So see
Yes, sir.
the
What will be
major
the biggest threat? Yeah,
threat.
biggest
So
threat
biggest
in the next few 20, 30
so
years
big
for the tiger conservation in the country, sir.
so biggest threat. I'm sorry if I can tell you, and don't consider that part philosophical and part practical. Philosophical in this way that the human greed, and I normally do that, and I suggest everybody. And again, I'm telling you that when you do workshops and conferences, all of us give T-shirts and things which use a lot of water. So I suggest always all of us use less energy, use less water, don't and reduce your wardrobe size. uh, each one shirt, one t-shirt takes 40,000 liter of water from cotton production to the end product. So I think sometimes we are thinking big, but actually conservation start from home. How energy efficient, how water efficient we are in our houses. And we should not fall into, I'm not a communist, but I suggest that we should not fall into a capitalist trap that I used to change a phone every 6 months or 1 year. And we should promote our governments to make sure that our equipment should have a larger life. Why I should change my computer every year? Why I should change my phone every year? And why can't I have a charger which can fit in all phones? I mean, I'm talking about a generality. Coming back to Tiger, and that's where it is ending up. Our need is turning into greed, and so we are digging more. I am not against using of wood. Use wood because it's replenishable, right? You can grow tree. That's fine. You can do agroforestry. But digging areas for mining, you're losing habitat forever. And mining is a big word. And sometimes this clean energy is a big buzzword, but we still not able to get how solar energy, how battery energy. For that, the minerals we are digging across Africa and India and many countries to have a battery technology in place. So we are talking, we are moving to non-fossil fuel. How are we going to deal with these batteries and solar panels and these windmills? How they are, I'm of course they're improving, I'm not telling, but we need to look at that battery technology is equally harmful. The way we are going to dig the minerals. So coming back to Tiger, and trade is the bigger issue still. Uh, China is still bigger market, and has to be international. It is operating international pressure, but it needs more. But the way we are doing a development in the country and pushing the GDP that it has to grow to 10%, 12%. I think those numbers pushing there, we equality of wealth is important. Equitability and distribution of wealth will solve the problem, not pushing the GDP only is an issue. If we do that, we'll have a less digging mines, which we need to develop, but ecologically meaningful way. That is the answer for Tiger and for everything. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And definitely on the Earth Day, it's like our shared responsibility, taking a resolve to as a shared responsibility toward preserving and conserving our Mother Earth. So thank you so much for your time and a very valuable talk, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Over
you,
to
everybody.
you.
It's
Thank you.
nice listening to all of you.
So, Qamar
Ji,
Sahab,
sir.
I'm Mr. Pandav Behra.
Ji,
I'm
sir.
from Pandav. I'm Mr. Behra from Odisha.
Ji, sir.
Okay. I must congratulate you because you have told the entire episode of forestry, including wildlife, from ethically, scientifically. It really, you deserve a lot of kudos from all of us. At least you have rekindled the names of a great scientist, great person like Bilal Saab, Jhala Saab, Ranjin Saab, and others also. So really, it is a mesmerizing topic for you, for us. You have covered entire episode for regarding wildlife. But one or two things I want to comment. I will conclude with one or two suggestions. Simply, see, we the human beings are all created to wipe out the tears from every eyes. That is the ethics of all religions. Then in forestry sector, what we are doing? You see, Google shows we have so the scientists, you people have developed, identified something around 3.5 lakhs of animals, sorry, plants, and around say, a little less number of animals. It includes the small animals, birds, reptiles, and of course bigger animals like the elephant and tigers. Similarly, we have grass, mosses, and tall trees like sal. Now, what we are doing in forest sector only, so we only take care of say trees numbering not more than 30, and of course the animals not more than 20 to 30, include tiger, leopard, or something like that. The rest of the animals or rest of the plants, because of our faulty management in the system, say the management started from Brandis 1965, 1865. So our practices in the forest, actually it de-wilder the forest. Our all forest practices is involved except your protected area. Protected area is not even 30, but 3%. And this wildlife
5%.
5%. Okay, this wildlife, you do not understand your boundary line of protected areas. All around the protected areas are mostly barren areas. Okay, so what I want to highlight is because when I was attending, Dr. Rajesh Gopal was there. When I used to go to Dehradun to attend the NTCA conference for Satkosia, I used to say, used to highlight this, sir. ये तो ये just like the situation, the highway, the protected area situation is like that. You are just taking the cats to take care of the rats. And in Satkosia, all important trees are guarded by or surrounded by barren areas and surrounded by rich fellows, protected by poor fellows. So are they going to these rich people are so rich, they are not going to construct their house by other than timbers. And we are engaging only watchers to protect our forest. So things as usual, it is happening everywhere. So problem is we do not highlight the real issue of forest theft. That is one issue. We are all involved in deforesting and de-wildering the meadow. So by the way, your smaller animals like birds, reptiles, and other smaller, they are totally ignored, and they are born and they are whatever little tiger, say something around 40,000, or your elephant something 40,000 or 50,000, 5,000 or little less tigers are struggling to survive. They are not visible with pleasure. They are all struggling how to survive myself. So this is the state of affair. Coupled with you must be knowing the air quality index, the water quality index, perhaps the lowest among our neighbors. Forget about the outsiders. So
I got the point.
But last, I will conclude it. So all these issues, we cannot simply improve without wildering our forest. So similar, whatever little forest is there, we still have a pressure of removing everything. Everything, timber, firewood, MAP, everything we all. So what I want to say is, we must develop we have money, 5 trillion economy we are talking about. We have barren land everywhere. In the department, we are not in a position to make it green. So some new thinking has to be able to meet our requirement of forest from outside of the forest. Existing natural forest has to be rigidly protected. It can be protected only by growing the requirement from outside. This is never thought of anything. That is no dot of money. First. Second is you have already highlighted the poverty. Poverty is the biggest. So specifically,
Mehraji, if you can conclude, because everybody else waiting for you.
Okay. I will conclude, sir. Sir, I will conclude. The amount of you are talking about corridors, the volume, the amount of money is spent for a corridor, raising corridor. I think thousands of hectares of plantation can be taken up, which can accommodate our wildlife and precious animals. So that is one thing. And second thing, corridor inside a forest, I personally feel it should be discouraged. Because
but Mehraji, I think just to conclude on this, I tell you one thing. All of us here in a society, we should force our political party in their manifesto. There has to be the conservation as a part. We will change the society over time.
We in the department sector, we also realign our activities. Our activities are limited to limited. So that is to be expanded. Sure. We are not coming out of that boundary. So that needs to be changed. Forestry has to be grown outside. Whatever literally we are going into,
I got your point, sir. Somebody else also want to talk, and I think people want to go.
Okay. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. You can connect with me separately. We'll talk, discuss.
Okay. Please get it. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So,
thank you.
Just because there is no more questions now. So once again, sir, this has been really a great day.
Thank you, everybody.
As far as the getting, for me also, it is a real update because, I was in Wildlife Institute of India, sir, in 2005. And at that time, this Sariska crisis happened, the extinction, local extinction of tiger. And since then, we saw your team, a method was in place, conventional method of indirect sighting. And that time you talked about using the technology, the camera traps, and monitoring the things like tiger, very elusive animals. And we were doing geospatial technology, we were applying for forest cover monitoring, but we had that time, we were no idea how to monitor things like tiger and spray, and that too for such a large country. And really the way the things has come in last 2 decades, it's a operational things now. So we have to, as a geospatial scientist, we have to understand that the kind of effort has gone into this entire process, and how inclusive is this process, that where from the beat guards to all the levels of peoples are get included in the entire process, the national process, and a monitoring of tiger and prey occurs. And that too, we have today trends of populations, and changes in population. The way we are getting for our forest cover, similarly, the change in its patterns are coming for these animals. And we have also a great sense of satisfaction that because of these, all of your efforts, your team efforts, today, the population of our carnivores is very good, and in fact, is this conservation success in our country. And challenges are there, sir, always will be there, because there is a human footprints are increasing. They will always be there. But I'm sure, because the kind of ecological scientific understanding of the wildlife and the pragmatism which you people have evolved in giving solution. So that is also one that gives a great degree of confidence that in future we will be able to mitigate the kind of challenges are in front of us. And we are very much thankful to you, sir. And I have also witnessed that the kind of mentoring you have done for the next generation of researchers. That is a great thing. Besides the things you have talked about, but there's the other part, that the mentoring you have done, sir. A lot of people you have today, they worked in different landscape across the country. In fact, Dr. Chitranjan Dave has also joined, sir. Here, I could see him. So I'm very much hopeful that the next generation which you have created, sir, they will really be a guardian of our wildlife. And we are very much thankful once again on the behalf of ISRS, fraternity, and our geospatial community, and as well as our ISHI members and all the audience, those who are present, very senior members, Devendra Pandeyji, Dr. CBS Dutt, and many others are, sir, here. So I thank you very much, sir. And thanks.
And I really want to say that, I also want to put acknowledgement for forest guards who put their life on the line to protect our forest. And I'm so happy that over time, our technology and the process has translated at that level, that now forest guard implement that. I'm so happy, and it was large number of my researcher community and forest guard actually involved in this, and actually dedicate this talk to them for their effort to make sure this happens. Thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot for all your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you,
we will.
Thank you very much.
And we will close the session here. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.